Back here at Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, Tennessee, where tonight the Oak Ridge Wildcats are taking on the Hilltoppers of Johnson City. The captains for the two teams are out there representing the Wildcats. Billy Shipley for the Wildcats, Ryan Wright, along with Kiki Houston and Eric Inger for the Hilltoppers. They're represented by Josh Mancuso, along with number 54, Larry Black, a 5'5", 159-pound senior. The Hilltoppers trying to win their third game of the year. The Wildcats defeated Science Hill last year in what was, in my opinion, one of the best games that Oak Ridge actually played last year. It was a homecoming contest at Blankenship Field. The weather conditions much the same, really, kind of damp, but not as foggy and definitely not as wet on the field. Coach Gaddis told us just a few moments ago that the field conditions, as you look down from the press box, probably look a little bit better than they actually are down there. He said there's different kinds of grasses growing out there. There's muddy spots all over the field as the toss of the coin has been made, and the winner was Science Hill, and they're going to receive the opening kickoff. So the Wildcats getting ready to kick off this ball game here in Johnson City. Next week we'll be also on the road, our final road game of the year in the regular season, as the Wildcats travel up to Campbell County High School to take on the Campbell County Cougars in a regional ball game. We're just moments away from the kickoff. The captains are there for Oak Ridge, but the Wildcats have yet to make their way from wherever they might be, so it gives us enough opportunity to send it back to Dan Peters once again. So Wildcats and the Hilltoppers live here from Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, and we'll be back to Johnson City following this 90-second timeout.
Chose to kick off. I knew Science Hill was getting
Sorry about the breaks here. I don't have help tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, that's the way it was. Okay.
Our cheerleaders just now got here.
Hours?
Yes. They just came through the tunnel out there.
We're about to be 10 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. I don't know why they're out there.
Why not? What else do they have to do? Wasn't it 2 years ago where
on to Steve Spurrier Field here in Johnson City, and we're about just moments away from getting this ball game underway from Johnson City on AM 1290 WATO. The band in full force across the way. Wildcat cheering section, probably as small a crowd as any crowd that we've had in a while. It's kind of a long trip up here. In fact, there was a lot of road construction around Jefferson County, which kind of slowed things down. It's not a bad crowd, but considering I guess the rivalry in past years in other sports with Johnson City, kind of surprising that the stands are not as full as we have seen them in the past few long road trips. But don't get me wrong, there are quite a few Oak Ridge people here, probably more than a lot of the teams that they get to come to this field when they have their home games against local teams. Wildcats are getting ready. The Hilltoppers are already out on the field, and they're going to be receiving the opening kick. Daniel Wetzel will do the honors for the Wildcats. Daniel has done an outstanding job putting the ball in the end zone all season long, and he's getting ready to start this ball game off here from Johnson City. Wildcats will be kicking from right to left as we look down from the press box on the home side. The Wildcats wearing Cardinal pants, white jerseys, Cardinal numerals. The Hilltoppers in kind of a gold pants with a maroon, actually a burnt orange type coloring for their jerseys, and a stripe down the side of the pants, white numerals. They have two men back to receive the kick to start the ball game, including Antonio Love, a 5'11", 187-pounder. As the Oak Ridge Band plays across the way, we're about to have football for you here on AM 1290 WATO. Scott Munger is not with us tonight. He'll be rejoining the team next week at Campbell County. Wetzel about to do the honors as the band continues to play extremely loud across the way. And this game is about set. The officials are ready. They give the signal to Daniel Wetzel. Here's his approach, and here's his kickoff. It's a high, long, driving kick. It'll go into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. He fielded it in the end zone, and the referee stood there and watched him fielded and then allowed him to run out of the end zone. The side judge actually notified him that it was a touchback, and Science Hill takes over. First down, 10 yards to go. Line of scrimmage will be their own 20 as they move from left to right, and we're just underway here in the first quarter. 11:56 to play, and onto the field will come their offensive unit led by Brian Miller. 6'5", 214-pound senior quarterback, an outstanding arm. Last year, we saw him direct his team in a losing cause, and he's going to start the game from the shotgun. 3 receivers in the pattern, a single running back. Here comes the snap, little pressure. Here's the pass across the way. It's incomplete. Pass was intended for number 8, Jonathan Stevens, a 6', 177-pounder. What surprised most Oak Ridge fans a year ago, despite the fact they had the heralded quarterback on the offensive firepower with great speed in their receivers position, they tried to run the ball on Oak Ridge, and they lost the ball game. So we kind of expected perhaps, and I asked Coach Gaddis about this today, whether he thought that they would just come out and throw it. And here on the first 2 downs, they appear to be doing that. Now they have 4 receivers in the pattern. Shotgun formation again. 2nd down and 10. Some movement on the line, and they were going to go with a little handoff anyway, and a flag goes down. The Wildcats with Drew Walker, Nick Crow, Matt Smith, and Kiki Houston in the secondary. The robber tonight is Billy Shipley, and I guess the best thing about this ball game is big number 66 is down on the field for the Wildcats. Greg Woofter, after a 2-game absence, he starts tonight at defensive end, and Stephen Woods on the opposite side of him. The tackles are for the Wildcats John Jordan along with Tommy Grissom. The Wildcats started linebacker Greg Adams and Morgan Blackburn. Shotgun formation again. Here comes some pressure. He's in trouble. He is sacked back at the 10-yard line. The Wildcats came in strong, and the man who got to him first was Greg Wood. At about 20 yards to go, 11:22 to play. Stephen Wood also involved in the sack for the Wildcat defense. The ball's back at the 10-yard line. They'll split 2 receivers here to the near side. Number 18 for them, James Hall, and 1 other back. Brian Miller at quarterback from the shotgun. 3 receivers, and once again there's movement on the line. Science Hill came back and beat Jefferson County a week ago in a big regional ball game for them, as once again they're going to say it's offsides against Science Hill. So the Hilltoppers haven't looked so impressive out of the chute here. They've been penalized 2 times for offsides. The quarterback, Brian Miller, has been sacked, and he's also thrown an incomplete pass. So now it'll be 3rd down, 25 yards to go. They need to get the ball up to the 30-yard line. Now Miller from the shotgun out of his own end zone. 3rd down and 25. Here comes some pressure. Here comes the pass. A shotgun bullet pass. It's going to be tipped and intercepted by Kiki Houston at the 50-yard line on a deflection. To the 40, to the 35, to the 30. Cuts across the field looking for daylight. Cuts back to his right. Goes down at the 30-yard line, and that's where Oak Ridge will take over. First down, 10 yards to go. So Miller was picked off on a pass intended for B.J. Hairston. It was deflected. Kiki Cats come out with Kiki Houston, Rock Harden, and Greg Adams in the backfield. Tharp under center, Chris Johnston will pitch it to Kiki Houston. Gets a block from Woofter. Cuts it across the 25-yard line and is tackled at that point. The Wildcats intercept the Brian Miller pass, but what a fantastic arm he displayed. By Houston. The Wildcats gain 5. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. The ball at the Hilltopper 25-yard line. 10:19 to play. We're in the first quarter of this non-regional ball game from Johnson City. Wildcats split out 2 receivers to the left. Now Harden comes in motion towards the Oak Ridge sideline. Tharp hands it off to Greg Adams. Adams falls forward to close to first down yardage. He's tackled, I believe, perhaps about a foot short I think he goes down at around the 21-yard line and needed to get to the 20. It'll be third down, a yard to go for the Wildcats. Actually, less than a yard to go. The nose of the ball just shy of the 20-yard line. Nick Crow comes in from the sideline. The head coach of the Wildcats is Coach Joe Gaddis. The offensive coordinator is Ron Gray. The defensive coordinator for the Wildcats is Bruce Lucier. The Wildcats needing a yard. Houston splits out to the right. Nick Crow here to the left. Backfield split. The Wildcats need less than a yard for a first. Tharp sneaks the ball forward for a first down. Bumped after his initial drive, but he does cross over the 20-yard line, and that will be enough for the Wildcat first down. The official officially puts it down at the 19, where it'll indeed will be first down, 10 yards to go for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Sean Thomas brings in the play from the sideline. The Wildcats are also assisted by David Goforth, Barry Saunders, Mike Mullins, Winston Russell, and Mike Stevens. Up to the line will come the Wildcats. Tharp from the 19-yard line. Jarrett hands it off to Rock Carden, finds a hole, cuts across the 15. To the sideline he goes, bounces out to the 13-yard line. Fine run by Rock Carden. Wildcats have moved it inside the 15. Officially, it's at the 13, where it's second down and 3.5 yards to go. Kiki Houston split out to the right. The tight end to the right is Jacob Schneider. Split out to the left here is Nick Crow. Backfield split behind Tharp from the 13. Tharp rolling to his left, looking, might run, gets a block, cuts it up the field. He's at the 10. Tharp down to the 5-yard line. The Wildcats have it. First down, goal to go at the 5-yard line. The Wildcats got some blocking help out there from Greg Myers, Matt Kimbrough on the left side. It'll be first down, as I said, goal to go. The ball is at the Hilltopper 5-yard line. The Wildcats steadily marching down the field on the ground to this point as the play is brought in from Ron Gray, the offensive coordinator. Cool, crisp night here from Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, Tennessee. Steve Spurrier, of course, the head coach of the Florida Gators, played high school football here at Johnson City, Science Hill. Backfield split, Rock Harden and Greg Adams. Two receivers split out to the right. First and goal, handoff Adams to the 3, to the 2, to the 1. Tackled at that point. It'll be second down. Goal to go for the Wildcats at around the 1-yard line as Adams moves the ball down the field. Gains about 3. Officially, they put him down at the 2-yard line before the stop is made by the Hilltoppers. 7 minutes, 48 seconds to play, first quarter. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge and Johnson City, Science Hill. Players shuttling in and out of the game defensively for the Hilltoppers. Out and then back in comes Terrence Bradley, a 5'9", 243-pounder. The Wildcats come to the line at the 2-yard line. Second down, goal to go from that point. Tharp, the senior quarterback, under center. Backfield split behind him, and the handoff will go to Rock Harden. He fumbles it in the backfield and falls on it back here at the 11. So the Wildcats nearly had a disastrous play as the ball was dropped in the backfield. I don't know if it was the exchange or what, but the Wildcats lose yardage, and they'll now face with a third down, goal to go. Officially, the ball is at the 11-yard line. Out of the game will come Nick Crow. Back in will come Sean Thomas. So the Wildcats' work is a little bit more difficult. The Wildcats, if you were here in the 93 playoff game, working on that side where Eduardo Rivera knocked down a field goal for Oak Ridge, and a big play for that 93 playoff team. Tharp to pass. There's the man. Pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Nice defensive play by the Hilltopper, who anticipated the pass. It was intended, I believe, for Sean Thomas cutting across the goal line. It was batted down by Franklin. Abreu Franklin knocks it down. So the Wildcats now had it second and goal to the 2, or now have to settle for a field goal. The ball is put down at the 19-yard line. It'll be a 29-yard attempt by Daniel Wetzel. To hold will be Drew Walker. The ball is down. Here's the kick by Daniel. It's on its way. It's up. And it is good. With time on the field, our score, 6:36 to play in the first quarter, 3-0 Oak Ridge, and we'll be back in. Hey, Matt, it's not on channel 12. Who can he call? A quarter. I mean, they're calling now. Okay. We'll work on it. We're going to give you a number to call. You had a lot of people call? All right. Right. Back here at Johnson City, this kickoff sponsored by the Oak Ridge Conference Center and the Oak Ridge Mall. It's a squibber right down the middle of the field, fielded by Science Hill. They return it up to around the 30-yard line. The Oak Ridge Conference Center wants you to call them now at 482-2008 to schedule your Christmas parties right now. Science Hill back on offense, trailing now 3-0, and it could have been a lot worse as the Wildcats had it at the 2-yard line. The fumble on the play hurt the Wildcats, but Daniel picks up his teammates and knocks home a 29-yard field goal. Science Hill back on offense, starting this drive at their own 29-yard line, this time not from the shotgun. Backfield split, receivers left and right. Brian Miller under center, 5 men on the line for the Wildcats. First down, 10 yards to go for Johnson City. Quarterback Miller rolling, pitching, boom, big stick at around the 25-yard line. The Wildcats come in strong, and they drop him for a big loss. The Wildcats, I think it perhaps was Matt Smith for the Wildcats. Minutes, 5 seconds to play. We're in the first quarter, 3-0 Oak Ridge. Shotgun formation once again for Brian Miller. Single running back to pass. Little pressure, here's the pass. It's complete to number 40. Cuts it up the field, moves the ball, and then is tackled hard by the Wildcats. Looked like it might have been Tommy Grissom who finished off the tackle. It's a gain on the play of about 8 yards. It'll bring up third down for Science Hill as play is halted officially, as one of the officials on the sideline comes over to confer with the referee. Play is halted. 5 minutes, 40 seconds to play. First quarter, 3-0 our score. For those of you who tuned in to Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12, we'll have the replay of this ball game at 12 noon tomorrow on Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. Up to the line once again will come Johnson City. Brian Miller, shotgun once again. Single receiver to the right, actually 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Single running back, third down, 6 yards to go. Low snap, here comes some pressure. The pass is incomplete. Would have been a first down out there at the 40-yard line. Defending for Oak Ridge was Greg Adams. It's fourth down facing Science Hill once again. So they've had the ball twice, have misfired, and I don't believe, with the exception of that previous reception, that they've had a reception. They do have no first downs to this point, and they'll be forced to punt. In fact, minus 2 yards of offense to this point. The Wildcats lead it by a score of 3-0. Back to receive the kick, Kiki Houston for the Wildcats along with Nick Crow. Good snap, no pressure. Here's the kick. Nice, long, spiraling kick. Fair catch, signal for and made by Kiki Houston at around the Wildcat 35-yard line, and that's where Oak Ridge will take over. First down, 10 yards to go, 5 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Wildcats moving from right to left, leading in this ball game 3-0. Pretty decent turnout of Oak Ridge fans across the way. Johnson City with a good crowd as well for this non-regional ball game. As the Wildcats come to the line, the first man there is the center, Chris Johnston. The Wildcats with Kiki Houston split out to the left. Backfield split, Harden for the Wildcats along with Adams. Single receiver to the right as Houston comes in motion. First down, 10 yards to go. Jerry Tharp, handoff. Greg Adams. No, that's Ryan Benjamin across the 40. Tackled at that point, so Benjamin comes in at tailback for the Wildcats. Ryan Benjamin for the Wildcats had an excellent ball game a week ago against Carnes. He's a 6'1". Of the ball just across the Oak Ridge 40-yard line. Senior Nick Crow split out here to the left for the Wildcats. Rock Harden in a slot to the left. Backfield split. The Wildcats, Tharp will hand it off to Houston. Needs a block at the 40. Moves the ball forward to around the 42-yard line. That's where he's tackled by Johnson City. Gain of only a yard, maybe 2 on the play. We'll call it 2. Third down for Oak Ridge. Third down and 3 yards to go. 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 3-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Play is brought in once again through the wide out. This time it's Sean Thomas coming in, and he'll split out to the right for the Wildcats. Jacob Schneider, the tight end, lines up here on the left, which is the near side to us. Backfield split, 2 receivers to the right, and a flag goes flying in. And we'll have to see. The Wildcats might have lined up offsides. The official is going to tell the referee that indeed it's going to be encroachment against the Wildcats. So Oak Ridge lined up offsides, and that's the first penalty of the game against Oak Ridge. That'll cost them 5, making the Wildcats' situation much more difficult. A 3rd down and 8 as Tharp comes over to confer with Ron Gray and Coach Joe Gaddis, head coach of the Wildcats. He, along with the receiver Nick Crow. Oak Ridge in the lead, 3-0, under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Oak Ridge band battling it out here with the Hilltopper band, which is down to our right, but the Wildcat band much louder. Crow and Harden split out to the right. The Wildcats need 8 yards for a first. 3rd down, 8 yards to go from the 33. And Jared will pass, has pressure. Here's the pass, incomplete. Intended for Oak Ridge's Nick Crow at the 50-yard line, and the Wildcats will be forced to punt. The Wildcats had a little bit more time for the senior quarterback. Ball just misfired between him and the receiver, and Trey McDonald will punt the ball away for the Wildcats. Trey is a 6'1", 195-pound junior, and the Hilltoppers getting ready to return the kick. McDonald averaging over 40 yards a punt this season. Low snap, lots of pressure, high, not very long kick, angling over towards the Oak Ridge sideline, bounces, and will come back up the field and will roll dead at around the 34-yard line, and that's where the Hilltoppers will take over. 1st down, 10 yards to go. They've come out of the shotgun primarily in their first 2 drives. Let's see what they do here. 3:29 to play, first quarter, live from Steve Spurrier Field, home of the Hilltoppers of Johnson City, Tennessee, at Roosevelt Memorial Stadium. The stadium is not located at the side of the school. It's located just a little bit to the outside of the main downtown district here in Johnson City. Brian Miller from the shotgun, an imposing fellow at quarterback, standing 6'5". He's back to pass. Across the middle, pass is complete at the 50-yard line. They move the ball down to the 45. Pass was caught by B.J. Hairston, 5'4", 146-pounder. That's a 1st down for the Johnson City Science Hill Hilltoppers as they move the ball up to the Wildcat 44-yard line, where it'll be 1st down, 10 yards to go. 22 yards on the reception for Hairston, and the Hilltoppers have a 1st down. Up to the line they'll come as officially the time is stopped. Greg Woofter looking for something up the field, and they're going to have to replace him. Into the ball game will come Dion Maples momentarily, and now Greg Woofter comes out of the ball game. Oak Ridge, so Greg with a little equipment problem. Once again, Miller will come from the shotgun. The ball's at the 44-yard line. Oak Ridge in the lead 3-0 on the strength of a 29-yard field goal by Daniel Wetzel. Shotgun formation once again for Miller. Here's the snap. Here comes some pressure. Down the middle, pass deflected, incomplete. Anticipating the pass fantastically was Kiki Houston. He deflected it, and it's incomplete. Continue to come out of the shotgun, and Brian Miller with his fantastic arm, great arm strength, is content to throw the ball quite a bit, it would appear, and they'll come to the line once again. Shotgun formation, a running back side by side with Miller in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right. They're going to hand it off to that running back, and he is tackled by Tommy Grissom at around the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down at about 7 yards to go. The back was Marcus Drumgool, 5'11", 227-pound junior. The Wildcats see Science Hill put the ball down at the 40-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down, 6 yards to go, 2:43 to play in the first quarter. Up to the line they'll come. Single receiver split out here to the right. Once again, shotgun formation for Brian Miller, slot right. Miller to pass, feeling some pressure. Pass is complete. Down the field, moving the ball close to the 30-yard line. That is enough for a 1st down. Defending out there for Oak Ridge, Billy Shipley, Greg Adams, along with Drew Walker. The pass was complete to Hairston once again, but that is a 1st down for the Hilltoppers, who continue to throw the ball against the Wildcats. Oak Ridge got a little pressure from the left end. Greg Woofter was applying pressure, got his hands up, and I thought had a chance to bat down the pass, but it somehow snuck through there, and the completion is made by Hairston. Single receivers to the right and left. Once again, shotgun formation. 1st and 10. Hairston comes in motion. under center. They're going to hand it off to the running back, and he's going to be slipping through there across the 25 to the 20, and that's a first down run. One thing I've picked up already, when the running back lines up side by side with Miller, he tends to hand it off to him. That's happened the last 2 times. Wildcats give up another first down, 14 yards on the gain as they move the ball to around the 16-yard line where it's first down, 10 yards to go for Johnson City. Science Hill, 2:10 to play in the first quarter. Split out to the left for them will be Robbie Euler, single man here to the right. Shotgun once again. Man comes in motion. Once again, they hand it off to the running back, who squirts across the 15 down to around the 13. B.J. Hairston carrying the ball once again. Hairston, not a very big fellow, 5'4", 146-pounder. They're in field goal range for sure as big number 10, Abrayo Franklin, comes into the ball game. 6'2", 280-pound senior. Quite an imposing figure. Gain of 3 on the play. Second down, 7 yards to go for the Hilltoppers. Once again, they'll set it up. This time they'll come with a power eye left. Quarterback under center this time. He hands it off to the running back, who's hit and squirts free once again. Moves the ball across the 10 to around the 9-yard line before he's tackled by Oak Ridge. Once again, I believe it's Hairston on the carry. It's a gain of only, I don't know, maybe 2-3 yards at most on the play. It'll bring up third down for Science Hill. Third down at about 4 yards to go. 1:03 to play in the first quarter with the Wildcats leading. Power eye left once again. Brian Miller under center. Third down, they need 4 yards to go. The ball's at the 9. Handoff, tailback. Hairston blasted at the line of scrimmage. The Wildcats drive him back. It'll be fourth down facing Science Hill. And Hairston was the ball carrier once again. Tommy Grissom on the stop. Greg Adams, John Jordan down there as well. No gain. They'll bring the kick unit onto the field. To do the honors for them will be Jonathan Godfrey, 5'11", 158-pound junior. He'll be kicking, but a timeout is asked for, I believe, by, I guess, well, maybe not. I thought they called a timeout. I didn't see who the signal was on. We're going to take one ourselves. 3-0 our score. We'll be back with the field. You have a number, Matt?
Yeah.
483-6040. Okay, that's Matt. Yeah. Okay. David Clary, Mark Hayst, along with Dan Peters, our engineer, back at the studios of WATO. We're also joined on Tennessee Cablevision, Channel 12, by Matt Tedford, Chris Boyd, and Philip Leander. The Hilltoppers going for a field goal to tie it at the 27.8-second mark of the first quarter. To hold for them will be Patrick McElvin. To kick will be Jonathan Godfrey, a very short, almost like an extra point in the center of the field. The tee will be put down at around the 17, making this a 27-yard field goal attempt. For the tie, the ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick, it is good. With time on the field, our score, 24.3 seconds. What? Yeah, I guess he's doing that now. What's that? What's that? Yeah, but
Just I was talking to that chick. Sorry, I didn't know on 30. She's gonna run it out and usually get a good one.
okay. When do I come back?
I want to give you 5 seconds. You're hitting right now.
That's right. Back here at Johnson City, and this kickoff is sponsored again by the Oak Ridge Conference Center and the Oak Ridge Mall. 3-3 our score high. Little pop-up kick will be fielded by Oak Ridge at around the 24. That'll be Booker at the 30 to around the 34-yard line, and beyond that, I believe, to the 35. I think that's James Booker on the return for the Wildcats, and that is the case. We're down to 16.6 seconds to play in the first quarter, all tied at 3, so it's been a battle of field goals. The Wildcats had an opportunity. They had it first and goal at the 2-yard line, and then a fumble hurt that drive and cost them the opportunity for a touchdown. The Hilltoppers also had it inside the 10-yard line. They were also forced to go for a field goal. Final play, perhaps, of the first quarter. Tharp under center, starting this drive at the Oak Ridge 35. Handoff, Rock Harden gets a block across the 35, looks for a hole, and moves the ball for a gain of about 3. And that is indeed the end of the first quarter. We're live here from Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, Tennessee on AM 1290 WATO. And we'll be back with the second quarter.
At the end of the third quarter, with the score Science Hill 3, Oak Ridge 3. Of the first quarter scores, Dobbins Bennett 14, Tom Beard 0, Tennessee High 7, Daniel Boone 0, Cox County 7, Campbell County 0, South Green 7, Geneva 0. Fully courtesy of Mr. Morrow, WWTW Radio.
You naked? You
Welcome back to Steve Spurrier Field on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. The ball just shy of the 40-yard line. Opening play of the second quarter. The Wildcats have it, second down and 4 yards to go. The Wildcats playing with, looks like Greg Adams at tailback. Wildcats split out a receiver to the left. Tharp will hand it off to Kiki Houston. Turns the corner at the 40. Cuts back inside and is tackled at around the 42-yard line. Gain of only a yard or so for Houston. It'll bring up third down and about 4 yards to go for Oak Ridge. The Wildcats and the Hilltoppers tied at 3. 11:43 to play. We're in the first half here in Johnson City. A cool night, not a cold night, but definitely the coolest football night that we've had this season, considering a lot of our games have been in the 80s and even in the 90s, it seems like, around game time. Ball's at the 42-yard line. Nick Crow split out to the right for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge now moving from left to right. Backfield split, single receiver. Rock Harden comes in motion. Tharp will back to pass, rolling, looking, might run. He does. Moves the ball forward to around the 45-yard line. He is right at the sticks. I think where the spot is, he's going to be about a half a yard short. Indeed, that is the case. The Wildcats will be forced to punt. Tharp just got up to around the 45-yard line. He needed the 45 for the first. He's tackled officially at the 44. So Trey McDonald will come into the ball game and punt the ball away for Oak Ridge. 3-3 our score, 10:47 to play. First half from Johnson City. Wildcats trying to win their 5th game of the year. Science Hill comes in at 2-4. Here's the pressure. Here's the kick by McDonald. Gets it away. End over end kick. Bouncing inside the 30. Rolling and dying at around the 25-yard line. And it's being bounced down the field by Nick Crow as if he were dribbling a basketball. But they're going to say officially it was down at the 24-yard line. 10:24 to play first half. Thanks for tuning us in. At the 24-yard line, the Hilltopper offense back out on the field once again, led by their quarterback, Brian Miller. Miller in the ball game has thrown quite effectively. Well, actually, he's 3 of 7 passing for 40 yards. And, of course, the interception by Kiki Houston, which the Wildcats picked off and eventually returned and were able to capitalize and get the 3 points off of. Miller this time from the shotgun. Back to pass. Here comes some pressure. Dumps it off. Pass is, I believe it's going to be complete at around the 26-yard line. Billy Shipley trailing the receiver wherever he went, and they do gain about 3 yards on the play. Just kind of a short little dump-off pass right in the middle. Shipley, the robber for the Wildcats, stayed right with his man and made the stop. Gain of only 3 on the play. Second down, 7 yards to go. 9:58 to play, third quarter. Receivers left and right for the Hilltoppers. It'll be Josh Mancuso to the right. Actually, they put 3 receivers in the pattern to the right. Single running back, single man here to the left. Miller back to pass. Here comes pressure. Miller running, continuing to run, looking. Now we'll crank it up down the field long. Kiki Houston will pick it off. And he does at the 33-yard line. His second interception of the game. That time Miller running. Wildcats came in strong with heavy pressure from the right for the Wildcats. Michael Resnick came in as Kiki picks off another one. The pressure caused the quarterback Miller, who has a very, very strong arm, .35 mark of the first half in a 3-3 ball game. Kiki Houston, Benjamin, Rock Carden in the ball game. Under center, Chris Johnston goes Drew Walker. Handoff straight up the middle to Benjamin. Benjamin across the 35, up to around the 37-yard line. I can't remember a running back in the last few years anyway that hits the line of scrimmage as hard as Ryan Benjamin. Coach Gaddis has said that. That play right there, a prime example of how fast Ryan Benjamin accelerates as he hits the line of scrimmage. Gained about 5 on the play, a long 4 more like it, but a fine run straight up the middle behind his center and the big guards for the Wildcats, Eric Hinger and Greg Myers. Second down, 5 yards to go. Walker at quarterback, hands it off to Kiki Houston. Houston across the 40, moves the ball for a first down, spins his way to the 45-yard line, then is blasted by the Hilltoppers, but not before he picks up a first down. 8 minutes, 52 seconds to play in the first half. 1st and 10, Oak Ridge, as Houston had some blockers out there, headed towards his own sideline, but the Hilltoppers quickly came and pursued him, but not before he gained positive yardage, a 7-yard gain for Kiki Houston, and the Wildcats indeed have it 1st and 10. Single receiver split out here to the right for the Wildcats. Walker will hand it off to Houston, and he'll lose yardage this time back at the 40. The Wildcats seem to be some kind of confusion back there, as Adrian Porter had come into the ball game as one of the receivers. The Wildcats went with that double crisscross play, and it lost 4 yards back here at the 40-yard line. Second down, 14 yards to go. Drew Walker in for Jared Tharp here in the first half. 8:14 and counting. 3-3 our score. Nose of the ball just across the Oak Ridge 40. Sean Thomas split out here to the right. Backfield split, Benjamin and Kiki Houston. In motion, Rock Carden. Walker rolling. Has time. Thought about running. Now will dump the pass off. Complete to Ryan Benjamin, and he is blasted at the 47-yard line. Quickly gets right back up. Big hit it. Third down, 7 yards to go. So Walker completes his first pass of the night. 7:35 to play first half. Live here from Johnson City. Adrian Porter brings in the play once again from the sidelines, and he splits out to the left. Kiki Houston out there as well. Backfield split. Third down. Ball was up for grabs, could have been intercepted by the Hilltopper defensive back. He wasn't able to pull it down. It'll be 4th down, and the Wildcats will punt once again. Broderick Isom out there defending on the pass. Trey McDonald has seen heavy pressure in his face on each and every one of his punts. They'll drop a guy back here at the 20-yard line. And that is the case. It'll be Antonio Love. Once again, pressure, high, long, spiraling kick. Love watches it, makes the reception at the 5. Up the field to the 10, to the 15. Finally brought down behind the 15 at around the 14 or 13. Billy Shipley, Grissom down there along with Norman, Inger, Woofter for the stop of the Wildcats. Not great field position for the Hilltoppers. he might have wanted to just let that one go into the end zone because he fielded it back inside the 10-yard line. And back out on the field will come Brian Miller and the Hilltopper offense. 3-3 our score, 6:58 to play. The Hilltoppers moving from right to left. Robbie Euler comes in the ball game. They'll split receivers left and right. This time Miller straight under his center. Backfield split behind him. First down, 10 yards to go. From the 13, handoff goes to number 5. He's hit in the backfield, dropped for a loss. Wildcats came in quickly with Wolfter. The play is finished off on the left end by, I think, at 3-3 our score. Stephen Wood, John Jordan, Tommy Grissom, Greg Wolfter on the line for the Wildcats. The linebackers are Michael Resnick for Oak Ridge and Morgan Blackburn. Second down, 11. Backfield split. We're in a 3-3 ball game in the first half. Miller barks the play. Receivers left and right. He'll hand it off to number 5 again, and he's tackled at the 15-yard line. Ball carrier for them continues to move the ball forward. That is Nick Crow, spelled exactly the way our Nick Crow spells his name. Nick Crow is a 5'8", 157-pound sophomore for Science Hill. Oak Ridge, of course, with their own Nick Crow, a 5'8", 160-pound senior. Receivers left and right, 2 split out to the right, 4-man front Oak Ridge. Shotgun for Brian Miller. Third down and 8. Low snap. Here comes pressure. Little screen pass out of the backfield. The Wildcats pursue, but the back is moving the ball forward close to first down yardage at around the 24-yard line. Nick Crow there on the stop. The ball is put down. He got a good spot. I think it was an accurate spot, and it should be a first down for the Hilltoppers. It's right in front of the sticks. Yet to see the signal as they move the chains into position. Brian Miller says it's a first down. They're going to bring the chains onto the field. 5:25 to play in the first half. 3-3 our score. A battle of field goals here in Johnson City. The chains are stretched as they're put down officially, and it is going to be, let's see, for Johnson City. Haven't seen the signal as they try to get it officially put down, and it will be a first down for Johnson City at the 24-yard line. I believe we're now on Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12 as well as AM 1290 WATO. Mark Haste, our statistician, will have his statistics at halftime of this ball game. We'll also go back to Dan Peters for scores of other ball games. At the conclusion of the game, we'll also have final scores and an interview with Coach Joe Gaddis, head coach of the Wildcats. Single receiver split out well wide here to the near side, the wide side of the field. Low snap. They're going to run the ball. Once again, that's Hairston. Hairston eludes a tackle, moves the ball forward to around the 28-yard line. Gain of about 6 or maybe even 7 on the play. Tommy Grissom again around the stop. Morgan Blackburn along with Drew Walker. 4:55 and counting. Gain of officially 5 on the play. Second down, 5 yards to go. 4:48 and counting in the first half. 3-3 our score. The Oak Ridge Band and the Science Hill Band leaving their seats here on this side of the field to perform at halftime. Shotgun once again. Running back side by side with him. Hairston comes in motion. He's going to hand it off to him again, and he's going to run right into a wall of Wildcats, and they're going to tackle him at the 30. And here comes a late flag into the ball game. I don't know if it was a late hit or a face mask of some sort, but it came in from the referee. Science Hill pointing towards Oak Ridge. It's going to be a face mask against Oak Ridge. The Wildcats will be penalized. It would have been third down and about 4. Now it's going to be a first down. Morgan Blackburn and Michael Resnick, the linebackers in there for Oak Ridge. Adams started the ball game at linebacker. The penalty yardage is stepped off across the 40 to the 46-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go for the Hilltoppers. Continuing this drive with 4:25 to play. Brian Miller, 6'5", 214-pound quarterback once again. Gets into position. Let's see if he comes out of the shotgun once again. Ball's at the 46. Split out to the right for the Hilltoppers. We'll go Tyrus Bradley. Single man split out here to the near side. Shotgun once again Miller. Man comes in motion. That's Hairston. 4-man front Oak Ridge. First and 10. Quarterback Miller. Back to pass. Here it is. It's complete. pushed out of bounds. No, he stays in bounds and moves the ball up the sidelines, across the 45, down to the 40, inside Oak Ridge territory to around the 37-yard line, where it'll be first down, 10 yards to go. Bradley on the reception. That time they faked the handoff to the back and dumped it to Bradley, and he was able to elude the first tackle. I thought he was going to be pushed out of bounds by Oak Ridge and was able to get positive yardage. 17 yards on the game for the Hilltoppers. They'll split a single man to the right. Once again, a single man here to the left. Up to the line they'll come. First and 10. 3:58 to play first half. 3-3 our score. Brian Miller from the shotgun once again. He'll hand it off to the running back. Somehow works his way across the 30, down to around the 27-yard line before Drew Walker makes a stop. Somehow he's so elusive. He's not very big at all. And he's able to get the ball for a gain of about 10 up the field, and that should be enough for a first down. It's right at the sticks. It'll be, let's see, will they bring the chains on once again? Yes, they will. 3:35 to play. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to Johnson City following this.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, well, man, you can't think of everything.
Second down, they were short.
Back here at Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, it was short of a first down. Second down, less than a yard to go for the Hilltoppers. This time, the big 6'5" quarterback Miller straight under his center. The backfield split behind him. The big guy will try to sneak the ball forward, and he is going to be dropped. Didn't really put a lot of effort into it. He's not that mobile. He only had to go a little bit. He took one step and then was driven back, and they're going to put the ball down. Let's see, officially spotted. Quarterback sneak on the part of Miller. It's third down and a yard to go. Waiting for the play from the sideline. Miller glares over towards his sideline, and they'll come to the line once again. He'll come out of the shotgun. 2:45 and counting in the first half in a 3-3 ball game. Brian Miller from the shotgun is running back to his side, and he gets the call. And he's hit, breaks the tackle, moves the ball forward for a gain of 6 or 7 yards to around the 24-yard line. The thing that he has done so well is Matt Smith's a little bit slow to get up on this particular play. In fact, he is staying down. They're going to move the chains, and now he's on his feet. Took a shot. One thing to Science Hill, they're getting a lot of their yards after the initial contact at the line of scrimmage. Somehow the back is able to squirt through and pick up extra yardage. That's what's killing the Wildcats here in the first half, as they've driven into field goal range again. Ball's officially at the 24-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go for Science Hill. Antonio Love split out to the right. Single running back once again for the Hilltoppers is Nick Crow. Slot is Hairston. Miller from the shotgun once again. First down, 10 yards to go. He'll hand it off to number 5, Nick Crow, and he once again is able to break tackles, but this time he'll lose a couple of yards. The Wildcats hem him in, and it's John Jordan making the stop along with 2 or 3 other Wildcats. They'll lose a yard. It'll be second down, 11 yards to go. The Wildcats see the Hilltoppers call a timeout. 2:07 to play. We're in the first half. PA guy, they're calling Michael Resnick, Michael Sharp. You might want to go tell him. Back here on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. 2:07 to play. We're in the final 2 minutes of the first half. The Wildcats in a 3-3 ball game. Up to the line will come the Hilltoppers. They have it second down, about 12 yards to go as they lost back to the 25-yard line. Brian Miller once again from the shotgun. He's got a strong arm. He's just a huge fellow, 6'5". He takes a snap, drops back to pass, looking, running for his life. He's about to be, yes indeed, he eats turf, sacked at the 40-yard line. Just too slow back there. And you're exactly right about the generous spot. They're going to say he went down at the 35-yard line, and that is hideous. That is probably the worst spot. On that sack. I can't wait to see the video on that as Brian Miller once again from the shotgun, third down at about 20 yards to go. He's very big, he's very strong, but he's not too mobile. He's going to pass across the middle. Pass is broken up by Matt Smith of the Wildcats, also defending Matt Collins and one other down, 21 yards to go. It'll be the Hilltoppers sending the kick team onto the field once again. Patrick McElvin will be the holder. Jonathan Godfrey will be the kicker. They'll put it down at around the 43-yard line, making this a 53-yard field goal attempt for the Hilltoppers to break the tie at the minute 15 mark of the first half. Godfrey to attempt. The ball is down. Here comes the kick. Oh, he's going to miss this kick by a good 25 to 30 yards. The kick is live down at the 5-yard line. Here come the Hilltoppers. They're going to pick it up, and they're going to say it is a touchback. The kick, the Wildcats could have picked up the kick and returned it because it was live on the field at the 5-yard line, and they're going to down it at the 5, and that's where the Wildcats are going to take over. So Oak Ridge not in position at all. It was a missed kick. The Wildcats headed off the field, and they downed it at the 5. So good play for the Hilltoppers, not a good play for the Wildcats. A minute 1 to play in the first half. Oak Ridge will start this drive at their own 5-yard line. 3 our score. Back in at quarterback for Oak Ridge will be Jared Tharp. Wildcats have Ryan Wright in at tackle. Greg Myers, Eric Inger at guard. The other tackle is Matt Kimbrough. Jacob Schneider's the tight end. Tharp working from his 5-yard line. A minute to play. Handoff goes to Greg Adams. Adams hit at the line of scrimmage, driven back. Hardly any yardage at all on the play. Maybe a yard at most. It'll be at the 6-yard line. Adams gains a yard. Second down, 9 yards to go. 46 seconds to play. Both teams have timeouts remaining. The Wildcats, I do believe, have all 3 of theirs. Hilltoppers have 1. Ball's at the 6-yard line. 34 seconds to play. I'm sure the Wildcats at this position of the field very content to go to the locker room. They don't want to turn the ball over here. If they can bust one, they'll be appreciative. But here comes Adams moving the ball forward, and he does bring the ball across the 10 to around the 11-yard line. Hit hard at that point. 16 seconds and counting here in the first half. 3 our score, and that might have been the final play of the first half. We're live here at Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City, Tennessee, as the Hilltoppers perhaps, no, they're going to let it tick on down. That indeed was the final play of the first half. A battle of field goals here in Johnson City. You're listening to the game live on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. We're going to take a break, come back and recap what little scoring we saw in the first half. We'll also look at statistics for the ball game as provided by Mark Haste, and we'll also check in with Dan Peters with scores of other ball games going on across the state tonight. Once again, our score here at the half, it's the Wildcats of Oak Ridge 3 and the Hilltoppers of Johnson City Science Hill 3. We're going to take a break. We'll send it back to Dan. We'll be back. Peters, once again, this will be our final break before the start of the half. It's Oak Ridge and Johnson City Science Hill tied at 3. And we'll be back with a kickoff in 60 seconds.
Second quarter score, Elizabethton 41, Cherokee 0. Second quarter score, Sullivan Central 6, Dade City 6. Halftime score, Greenville 0, Sullivan South 0. Second quarter score, Cox County 14, Campbell County 0. And second quarter score, South Green 14, Unaka 0. Score was courtesy of Mr. Paul Overbay, WJCW Radio.
I think Clinton beat Dawkins. Yeah. Don't ask me why. I can't figure it out. I don't know why. They got everybody.
13 scores, Yankees 1, Indians 0.
We're back here at Steve Spurrier Field here in Johnson City, Tennessee. Not a bad trip up here. It's kind of cool. We were talking with Chris Boyd and Philip Leander, our camera personnel for tonight's ball game on Channel 12, and they said it's pretty chilly down there, and I see some heavy coats in the stands. Some people still electing or opting to wear the shorts, and I don't believe those individuals will be wearing those next week if it's as cold as it is tonight next week.
And some people are opting to stay in the press box.
We are opting to stay in the press box. In fact, one of the more interesting, one of the most exciting events so far tonight was listening to Channel 12 fight for their position in the press box earlier tonight. That was one of the more interesting aspects and probably the most exciting thing that's happened tonight here at Johnson City. As we're about to get started once again, it'll be Rock Harden back to receive the kick. He's standing back at the 5-yard line. Johnson City will be kicking from left to right. Oak Ridge is wearing their Cardinal slick pants with their white jerseys and Cardinal numerals. The Hilltoppers wearing gold and maroon white numerals. Johnson City to kick off. To do the honors again for them is Jonathan Godfrey, 5'11", 158-pound junior. And we're about to get the second half underway in a 3-3 ball game. The Wildcats will be receiving. Rock Harden's ready. Here's the kick by Godfrey. High kick, not very long. James Booker will field it at the 17, at the 20, Booker at the 25, Booker at the 30, Booker at the 35, to the 40, to the 45-yard line, up the field to the 50, down to the 45-yard line of the Hilltoppers. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Wildcats as James Booker returns the kick, got caught in a mess of his blockers and Hilltoppers and was able to Wildcats split out to the left. Nick Crow, Rock Harden as well. Oak Ridge, backfield split. First and 10 in Hilltopper territory. Opening drive of the second half. Handoff goes to Greg Adams. Adams slips as he hits the line of scrimmage, and down he goes. No gain on the play. It'll bring up second down and 10 yards to go for the Wildcats. The ball's at the 46-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Oak Ridge scored first on the field goal back in the first quarter. The Wildcats only 55 yards of offense total in the first half. They pick up really nothing on that play. Houston and Thomas split out here to the left. Backfield split. Tharp at quarterback. Second down, about 9.5 yards to go. Houston comes in motion. Jared looking, rolling, firing, pass, complete to Jacob Schneider at the 35-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go for the Wildcats as Jacob makes the reception, and the Wildcats this year with a little tight end drag across the middle, and Jacob makes the reception. 11 yards on the gain. First and 10 at the 35-yard line of Johnson City. 11 minutes to play in the third quarter. 3-3 the score. Wildcats split out the sophomore. Adrian Porter to the right. Rock Harden in a slot to the right. Backfield split. Tharp from the 35. Here's the pitch to Kiki Houston at the 35 to the 30. Down he goes to the 27-yard line. A fine gain for the senior running back. 8 yards for the Wildcat back. It'll be for Oak Ridge. Third down and about 2 yards to go. 10:33 and counting. Live on AM 1290 WATO. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, our broadcast partner Scott Munger, not with us here tonight, had some business commitments today, and I'm sure he's back in Oak Ridge listening to the broadcast either on WATO or Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. 3-3 our score. The Wildcats up to the line. Two receivers split out here to the left. Sean Thomas and Rock Harden. Backfield split. Second down 2 from the 27-yard line. Jared Tharp rolling, looking, firing. There's the man into the end zone. Batted down at the last moment by Johnson City Science Hill's Nick Crow. The pass was intended for the Wildcats. I think it was Jacob Schneider who'd come free in the end zone. It's an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 2 yards to go for the Wildcats. Once again, I want to point out that there are 2 Nick Crows playing in the ball game, one on each team. The Wildcats, obviously, number 17, the senior who started all year long, and the Hilltoppers have one as well. I hope not to confuse anybody. The Wildcats need about 2 for a first down. Tharp under center from the 36-yard line. Handoff Adams. Adams will not get the first down on first effort. Fumbles the football. It's pounced upon. Who's got the football? Science Hill says they have it, and they do. Wildcats turn the ball over. Adams, looking for second effort yardage, was stripped of the ball by Johnson City, and they recover it at the 37-yard line. That is a fired-up group of players and coaches on the Science Hill side. The Wildcat side across the way, just standing, watching the proceedings as the Hilltopper offense comes onto the field. Brian Miller, for the most part, most of the ball game, has operated his offense from the shotgun formation, and he'll do it once again. First down, 10 yards to go at the 33-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Miller with the snap, no pressure. Now he has some little pressure, breaks a tackle, turns the ball up the field, runs the ball, and then is tackled by Morgan Blackburn, but not before he picks up a first down. One of the few times in the ball game, the pressure and the pocket just kind of collapsed around him and behind him, so he just stepped up, moved the ball forward for a gain of about 11 yards on the play. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for Johnson City. Ball's at the 44-yard line, 9:39 to play, so the Wildcats turning the ball over, and the Hilltoppers taking advantage, picking up a first down on their first down play. Slot to the left once again is Nick Crow, single receiver to the right, shotgun formation, handoff to the little running back, out of the backfield, is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of size at all with their running backs, and the Wildcats make the stop. Tommy Grissom there for Oak Ridge, looks like Michael Resnick, Billy Shipley down there. I'll check the starters defensively. Stephen Wood and Greg Woofter starting at defensive end. The tackles are Tommy Grissom and John Jordan. The linebackers, Michael Resnick along with Morgan Blackburn. The secondary, Matt Smith, Kiki Houston, Nick Crow, and Drew Walker. Second down, 9 yards to go. Shotgun. Once again, Brian Miller, low snap. Here comes some pressure. Miller passes. Here's the man. The pass is incomplete. Broke free just for a moment, and then Drew Walker had to backpedal to get into position to defend it. But unfortunately for the Hilltoppers and Jonathan Stevens, the intended receiver, it's off his fingertips, incomplete. It's third down, 9 yards to go with 8:50 to play in the third quarter. 3-3. The Wildcats hitting on a 29-yard field goal. The Hilltoppers hitting on a 27-yard field goal in this ball game. Brian Miller once again from the shotgun, back to pass. Lots of pressure, sets up the screen to Nick Crow. Down the field, 50, flag goes down, and we'll have to check the call. I think we're going to have a clip against number 68 for Johnson City Science Hill, but we'll wait for the official to give us the word. Official comes in, points it out. It will be a first down, as it's going to be a hold against the Hilltoppers, and it goes against number 68. I thought it was either going to be a hold or a clip. Indeed, David Kirkland, the guilty man, I think he kind of got tangled up with Michael Resnick down there. It'll be penalty yardage against the Hilltoppers, 8:40 to play. The Wildcat captain, Morgan Blackburn, talking with the referee. They'll step the yardage off against Science Hill. They set up a little screen. Everyone came rushing in, and they dumped it off to the back. Indeed, they're going to put the ball back to the 43-yard line of Science Hill, making it third down and about 12 yards to go. 8:40 to play in the third quarter. We're on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. The imposing quarterback, Brian Miller, the 6'5 senior, back to pass. Low snap again. Once again, they set up the screen. This time the Wildcats don't defend it, and up the field they go. 50. Tackled at around the 40-yard line, so they come right back with the same play. And the Wildcats, once again, aggressively charge the quarterback, and once again he dumps it off for a first down. Michael Resnick around the stop. They move the ball to the 41-yard line. Drew Walker on the stop for the Wildcats as they bring players in the game. It'll be Robbie Euler once again, a receiver, splitting out to the left. Out for them will go Antonio Love. First down, 10 yards to go for the Hilltoppers. A huge offensive line. Once again, Brian Miller from the shotgun. In motion will come Hairston. Receivers left and right. First and 10. He'll hand it off to the running back, who is tackled by Tommy Grissom at the 40-yard line. Tommy just grabs him, slings him down. Got a little help from the Wildcats' John Jordan along with Michael Resnick. They move the ball to the 4. Of offense to speak of, obviously. In fact, the Wildcats only had 55 yards of total offense in the entire first half. Hilltopper ball at the Oak Ridge 40. Shotgun formation once again. Brian Miller pumps. Here comes pressure. He's in trouble. He's running for his life. He is stripped of the ball and nearly sacked, and indeed sacked. I thought they were going to strip the ball away, and they drop him back here at the 44-yard line. Michael Resnick came in. Chris Kreider was back there just in case. Strong arm, but he is slow as they come as he is sacked once again back here at the 46-yard line. Two receivers here split out to the right, single man to the left, actually two to the left. Shotgun, third down, 24 yards to go. Low snap. Here comes pressure from the outside. Here's one across the middle. Pass is complete, but a nice tackle by the Wildcats' Michael Resnick. Morgan Blackburn also defending. They get about, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 yards, but not much more than that as the Wildcats make the stop, and the Hilltoppers will be forced to punt. Kiki Houston back along with Nick Crow back at around the 15-yard line, so the fumble does not come back to haunt the Wildcats. The sack definitely hurting the Hilltopper cause. Fourth down, 23 yards to go. They'll punt. Wildcats back. High snap. Punter is tall, though. Gets a high, wobbly kick, and it's going to bounce inside the 20, down to the 15, down to the 10-yard line, and roll dead there, and that's where Oak Ridge will take over. So the Wildcats have not had great field position to start their 2 out of their last 3 drives, with the exception of the opening kickoff, which was run back for a fine return by James Booker here in the second half. The final possession of the first half, they started at the 5-yard line. This time they're going to start this possession at their own 9-yard line. 5:54 to play. Third quarter action, 3-3 our score. Wildcats with Adrian Porter splitting out here to the left. The backfield consists of Adams, Houston, and Rock Harden. The quarterback is Jared Tharp. Under center, first and 10. Handoff goes for about a yard or 2, not much more than that, as the tailback carries the ball. That is, let's see if that's Greg Adams. That is the case. He gains 2. Second down, 8 yards to go.
Adams on the carry, tackled by Franklin and Bobby Lady.
Franklin there on the stop for the Hilltoppers. Second down, 8 yards to go. Matt Kimbrough, Eric Inger, Greg Wolfter, Greg Myers, and Ryan Wright, the offensive line for the Wildcats. Sean Thomas split out here to the left. Second down, 8 yards to go from the 11. Handoff goes, Kiki Houston looking for a hole. He's at the 10, up to around the 12 or 13-yard line. Slow going for the Wildcats, who can't get their wing tee going against the Hilltopper defense. They've got some size down there, but the Wildcats not really opening up the holes we saw last week, obviously, against Cards. The Wildcats only pick up a yard. Third down, 7 yards to go. So unless the Wildcats pick up a first down here, the Hilltoppers are bound to get some pretty good field position. Wildcats needing 7 for a first down. They're moving from right to left. Ball's at their own 13-yard line. 4:45 to play, third quarter. Tharp under center, splits out 2 receivers to the right. The backfield split behind him. Looking at a 4-man front set by the Hilltoppers. In motion will come Rock Harden. Tharp from the 13, rolling to his right. Looking long, Adrian Porter. The pass instead to Benjamin complete. At the 20, to the 25, to the 30, to the 37-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. Well executed play that time as the Wildcats quarterback rolled, looked. First and 10, 24 yards on the gain for Oak Ridge. 4:19 to play in the Wildcats, but continue the drive. First and 10. Tharp from the 37. Harden comes in motion towards the far side. First and 10. The pitch will go to Kiki Houston on the short side of the field, and he is blasted. Not a whole lot of territory on the short side of the field as he goes driven out of bounds at around the sticks. Might have gained a yard to around the 38, maybe the 39. Nick Crow for Johnson City Science Hill on the stop for them. It will be a gain of 2. Second down and 8 yards to go. 4 minutes and stopped as the out of bounds play stops the clock. Wildcats with the nose of the ball just at their own 40-yard line. Sophomore Adrian Porter split out here to the left. The backfield split once again for Tharp. 3-3 score here in Johnson City. Tharp to pass, rolling, has some pressure. Here's the pass, complete for a first down to Greg Adams at the 50, down to the 40-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. So the Wildcats alternating with passing to their tailbacks. This one goes to Greg Adams, another first down as Tharp connects. Coming in and out of the game as Ryan Benjamin checks back into the ball game. Greg Adams, who's playing linebacker, has started the ball game at linebacker tonight, goes out once again. Tharp from the Hilltopper 40. 3:40 to play in a 3-3 ball game. Kiki Houston comes in motion to the far right. Single receiver to the right. Handoff. Ryan Benjamin, 5 yards, 6 yards as he brings the ball close to around the 34-yard line, straight up the middle running behind his center, who is Greg Wolfster, I do believe, once again back in the game. He and Chris Johnston have alternated during the ball game. Greg started at tackle for the first time tonight, and now it looks as if he's back in at center as Porter has the play from Coach Ron Gray, the offensive coordinator of the Wildcats. It was a gain of about 5.5 yards. Ball's at the Hilltopper 35. Split out to the right is Adrian Porter along with Rock Carden. The Wildcats with the backfield split. The toss sweep to Kiki Houston. Needs a block, gets it. Cuts across for first down yardage and down the sideline. Pushed out of bounds, but he indeed has an Oak Ridge first down at around the 26-yard line. So the Wildcats beginning to move the ball on this drive. He is the leading ground gainer for Oak Ridge as Oak Ridge comes to the line. First and 10, the ball at the 26-yard line of Johnson City. Handoff to the tailback straight up the middle. Not a lot of yardage. I think that was Ryan Benjamin carrying across the 25 to around the 24. Knocked down by the Hilltoppers. Time-consuming drive here. The Hilltoppers move the ball effectively on their drive. Then a sack, a penalty hurt their cause. The Wildcats have steadily marched the ball down the field, starting this drive back at the 10-yard line, actually around the 9, probably closer to it. 2:22 to play. Up to the line they'll come. 2 receivers split out to the left. Wildcats second down and 8, and Jared Tharp calls a timeout. Let's take one ourselves. Our score is 3-3, and we'll be back to Johnson City following the 67. Back here at Johnson City, Science Hill, Steve Spurrier Field. The Wildcats with the ball inside the 25-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Second down, 8 yards to go. Tharp looking at a 5-man front. Backfield split behind him. In motion will come Rock Carden. Jared Tharp under center. Hands it off. James Booker. Booker 25, 20. Booker 15. Tackled at that point, but a flag went down at the line of scrimmage. We'll have to check the call. There was lots of men on the line for Johnson City. James might be a motion call. Official signals illegal motion against Oak Ridge. That's a 5-yard step off. And James Booker, on his first carry, was able to get positive yardage, but out of the game he goes. The Wildcats getting fresh running backs in and out of the ball game. Ryan Benjamin's in at tailback. Rock Carden's in there. Here comes Sean Thomas with the play. Kiki Houston is the other halfback in the ball game for Oak Ridge. 2 minutes to play. Third quarter, 3-3. Very low-scoring ball game as they step the 5-yard penalty back to the 29-yard line of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge moving from right to left, trying to get them on the scoreboard. Once again, they scored at the 6:36 mark of the first quarter, but have been shut out ever since. The Hilltoppers scored at the 24-second mark of the first quarter. They have obviously been shut out as well. Second down, 13 yards to go. Tharp from the 29, back to pass. Looking, firing, Pass complete. And then fumbled. They're going to call it an incomplete pass at the 15-yard line. The intended receiver was Jacob Schneider. He has one reception in the ball game. Can't really figure what happened. Looked like he had it, then he didn't. And the Wildcats are now faced with 3rd down and 13 yards to go. The ball's at the 29-yard line. So penalties and turnovers have hurt both teams in this one. Let's see if Oak Ridge can overcome this last penalty. It's 3rd and 13. Ball's at the 29-yard line. Ron Gray sends in the play on this cool, crisp evening here from Johnson City. Minute 38 to play. The clock is stopped on the incomplete pass. 2 receivers split out to the left. Tharp, who's had plenty of time really to pass the ball. Straight drop this time. Has time again. Pass is overthrown, incomplete. The pass was intended for Adrian Porter. I think he was the closest man to it. The ball was overthrown, and into the game to attempt a long field goal will come Daniel Wetzel. He'll put the tee down at, let's see, around the 37 or 8 yard line. We'll call it the 37-yard line, the far hash. And it'll be a 47-yard field goal attempt by Wetzel. Wildcats trying to get on the scoreboard. Wetzel with a long attempt. Drew Walker to hold, Jacob Schneider to snap. Here's the snap, the hold, Daniel, it's no good, off to the right. So we remain tied at 3 at the minute 27 mark of the first half. I don't remember the last time we've played a ball game where any of the two teams were held without a touchdown this late in a ball game. It's been a while anyway, as the Wildcats settle back on defense. The secondary consists of Kiki Houston, Matt Smith, Drew Walker, and Nick Crow. Let's see who's in at linebacker. Looks like Michael Resnick will come back in at linebacker. Probably Morgan Blackburn will be the other linebacker. Billy Shipley, I would assume, is the robber. Although I'm looking for him and I do not see him. I'll check that in a second. No, actually the Wildcats are playing with, as they're going to break a tackle, and down the sideline will go Hairston. Hairston breaks the tackle across the 35 to the 40 to the 45 to the 50-yard line. Tackled shy of the 50 at the 47. The Wildcats do not have a robber in there. They actually have 5 defensive backs. Chris Kreider into the ball game as Nick Crow, Resnick, and Wolfter there on the stop. A little Utah pass, I do believe, and they move the ball to the 49-yard line, a 29-yard gain for the Hilltoppers, who are on the move at the minute mark of the third quarter in a 3-3 ball game. The defensive line, Wolfter, Jordan, Grissom, and Wood. Up to the line, Brian Miller from the shotgun, actually, standing about 5 yards deep in his backfield. He'll hand it off to number 5, Nick Crow. Flags are down. Tackled at the middle of the line, might have gained 2 at most. 44.4 seconds to play. Penalty went down. I would assume it's some procedural call against Johnson City. Have yet to see any indication it will be offsides against Johnson City. They gained a yard or so on the play, but I'm sure the Wildcats will take the 5-yard penalty and they'll back it up. Joe Gaddis is the head coach of the Wildcats. In his 11th year, became the all-time winningest coach in terms of wins this past Friday. 113 wins for the skipper of the Wildcats, as indeed the 5-yard penalty is walked back to the 44-yard line of Johnson City. First down, 15 yards to go. 42 seconds to play third quarter in a field goal game. 3-3 are scored. 2 receivers split out here to the right. Shotgun once again for Brian Miller, the big 6'5 quarterback. 2 receivers to the left. Here's the snap. Here comes some pressure. Little pass, complete. Wildcats went for an interception out there with Chris Kreider. The pass was zipped in there to the intended receiver, and the receiver who made the catch, Jonathan Stevens, and he gets back a good chunk of yardage, 11 yards on the play to the Oak Ridge 45-yard line, where it's now second down and 4 yards to go. I mentioned the Wildcats are playing with essentially 5 defensive backs in the ball game as they face Miller, who is just backed up in the shotgun and just heaved it down the field. Second down, 4 yards to go. 17 attempts in the ball game. Now they're going to run the ball with Hairston. He is swarmed under. They'll lose a couple of yards on the play. It's going to be third down, and then a late whistle, perhaps a face mask, I think, perhaps, as Hairston is tackled. Oak Ridge, and that'll give them the first down on the personal foul step off. 13 seconds to play. The Hilltoppers saw the Wildcats drive deep and then a penalty stopped their drive. The Hilltoppers have been the victims of turnovers and penalties as well, but now they're getting in the field goal range as they walk this penalty yardage to the 32-yard line of Oak Ridge, where it's now first down, 10 yards to go. Wes Newsom checks out. Back in the game for Oak Ridge will come Matt Smith. Brian Miller at quarterback. Shotgun. Here comes pressure. Pass is complete. Nick Crow breaks a tackle. 25, 20, middle of the field. Tackled finally hard from the rear, but not before he gets inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Once again, the intended receiver took a big shot, and he is down on the play. That's the end of the third quarter. Our score here in Johnson City is the Hilltoppers and the Wildcats tied at 3. And we'll Stephen Cold here in the press box as the Hilltoppers signal in the play to their quarterback, Brian Miller. Miller stands at 6'5", 214 pounds. Huge. He looks taller than 6'5" as I look at him. I'm trying to pick out Greg Wolfter on the field, and let's see, Greg's about 6'6". I guess he's about 6'5" because Greg's just a little bit taller than he is. As the Hilltoppers come to the line, power I to the left, 1st and 10. The ball is at the 13-yard line. No receivers in the pattern. Handoff goes to Hairston, who dives forward for a gain of a couple. Not much more than that as he brings the ball to the 12. Just tried to dive over the top. Hairston's not a very big running back, 5'4", 146 pounds, but has some ups as he got over the top of the pile there and gained, indeed, only 2 yards. Second down, a long 8 to go for a first. 11:37 to play in the game. As an official timeout is called as Billy Shipley's having an equipment problem. He'll have to come out of the ball game. Let's see who checks in for Oak Ridge. It looks like they're going to come back in with that 5th defensive back, Chris Kreider, as the ball's at the 12-yard line, and now play is halted as the clock is stopped on a timeout. We're going to send it back once again to the radio station. Dan Peters is our engineer back at the station. Our score here, 11:29 to play in the Back here in Johnson City at Steve Spurrier Field, the Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Hilltoppers tied at 3. Johnson City, though, has an opportunity as they are inside the Oak Ridge 15-yard line, down at the 12. They're setting up in another power I formation. Power I to the left. They've got, almost like our big jumbo set, they've got some pretty good-sized fellows with Hairston, the running back, the little guy in the backfield. It's Miller rolling. There's some holding, no call, and Miller's pushed out of bounds, and there's the flag. There was some holding down the play, and it was quite evident, and everyone on this side, everyone on that side. Unfortunately, the guy in the white hat saw it, so obviously the guy in the white hat is a good guy because he is going to step the penalty yardage off against the Hilltoppers. I think it was against big number 68 once again. That's the second time he's been guilty of that. Holding, indeed, against Johnson City. So penalties have hurt both teams. Of course, this gives the opportunity for Brian Miller to have some more passing territory to work with, but it makes it quite difficult, kind of backing it up to the 24-yard line. Back in the ball game will come Marcus Drumgool, 5'11", 227-pound junior. It'll be second down, 22 yards to go. Back here at the 22-yard line. Shotgun for Miller. Miller looking, firing. There's a wide open man. The pass is incomplete. There was some contact down there, but the pass is incomplete. The defensive back for the Wildcats was Nick Crow, and he was defending the intended receiver, which I think was number 8, perhaps, Jonathan Stevens. It'll be third down, 24 yards to go. 11:12 to play in the ball game. We're tied at 3. Here comes the Hilltoppers to the line, splitting out Jonathan Stevens to the right, along with, for them, Tyrus Bradley. 2 receivers here to the left side. Shotgun, pressure, sack! But he still is able to throw the ball away. He was in the grasp, and they're going to say it's an incomplete pass. Earlier, when he was driven back and they gave him the credit of the 5 yards after the forward progress stop, they called it. This time he was in the grass, going down, attempted a pass, nobody in the vicinity. It's just an incomplete pass. Debatable call that time, or no call by the officials. They'll go for a field goal to take the lead. On the left hash, it'll be at the 31-yard line, a 41-yard kick by Jonathan Godfrey. 3-3-yard score, 10:54 to play. So neither team able to get a touchdown. The Hilltoppers going for a field goal. Wildcats see if they can get some pressure in. The official looking for a new football. And they've got a ball boy down there who carries almost like a newspaper sack with fresh balls, and he walks out on the field and tosses it in. Godfrey going for a 41-yard field goal to give his team the lead. We're tied at 3. 11:38 to play. Here comes the snap, way high. Here's the kick. It's up. It's on its way. Plenty of leg. It's on its way, and it is no good. Off to the right. It had the distance. It didn't have the accuracy, and the Wildcat offense will come onto the field. 10:47 to play in the game, so we remain tied at 3 here in Johnson City. And the Oak Ridge offense comes onto the field. The quarterback, let's see, will be Jared Tharp. The running backs for Oak Ridge will be Kiki Houston, Rock Harden. Let's see who the tailback is. Will it be Benjamin or will it be Adams? We're about to see as Coach Gaddis has words with the official across the way. Here come the Wildcats to the line. The tailback is, I believe, Ryan Benjamin. That is the case. Wildcats in a slot to the right. Oak Ridge, handoff. Benjamin blasted at the line of scrimmage. Driven back hard. No gain on the play. He's tackled at the 20-yard line. 2nd down and 10. Nice defense by the Hilltoppers. 10:35 to play. The Wildcats substitute Adrian Porter back in the ball game. The offensive line, Ryan Wright's in at tackle along with Matt Kimbrough. The guards are Greg Myers and Eric Inger. The center is Greg Woofter, getting his back a chance to. He actually hasn't played in a couple ball games, and he's back in there. 2nd down 10. Jared Tharp needs a block. Hands it off to Rock Harden. Harden at the 25 up to the 26-yard line and is tackled at that point by Johnson City. Stop is made by the Hilltoppers. Number 50 for them, Terrence Bradley, a 5'9", 243-pounder. It'll be 2nd down. Correct that, 3rd down. 4 yards to go. 9:50 to play in the ball game and a 3-3 tie. Play is brought in through the wideout, Sean Thomas. Tharp has it, relays it to the rest of his team. Jacob Schneider, the other lineman, the tight end, split out to the right. The Wildcats come to the line. Benjamin, the tailback, Harden, and Houston behind Tharp. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Greg Woofter about to snap to his quarterback eventually, and he does. Rolling, handing it off to Houston. Looks up the field, lost yardage. Back to the 22-yard line. And the Wildcats will be forced to punt. So once again, Wildcats just took too long to get that play developed as they will be forced to punt. McDonald will punt from around his own 10-yard line. So Science Hill will get good field position again. Wildcats went with the running plays, and they lost 2 on that last play. Everyone about to rush Trey McDonald. Good snap, lots of pressure. The kick is away. Short end over end kick, but it'll take a good bounce. It's returnable, though. It's fielded by the Hilltoppers at the 40 and tackled at that point. Nice open field tackle by somebody down there. Eric Inger was down there along with the Wildcats. Looks like Norman Shipley, I think, around the play. So they'll take over at their own 40-yard line, moving from right to left with only 8:45 to play. If indeed this game ends as a tie, the rules in high school football, you put the ball down at the 10-yard line after a toss of the coin to determine possession, who will go on offense first and who will go on defense first. And they have 4 plays to get the ball in. That's the high school overtime rules. Both of these teams want to end it here in regulation. Miller to pass. Pass is complete to Hairston, and he picks up a 1st down at the 50-yard line. That time, covering was Greg Adams, and just couldn't quite keep up to the receiver, B.J. Hairston, who's much smaller, 5'4", 146-pounder. It is a gain of 9. It was not a 1st down. The ball's at midfield. 2nd down and less than a yard to go. The ball at the 50-yard line. 8 minutes, 14 seconds to play. Once again, the Hilltoppers splitting out receivers everywhere. Josh Mancuso to the right along with one other. 2 here to the left. Shotgun, Miller hands it off. running the ball is the big guy. He's hit after a first down, tackled by Matt Smith and Matt Collins at around the 45-yard line. Gain of 6. That is a first down as Michael Resnick comes over from the Oak Ridge sideline. Checking out will go Greg Adams. 7:58 to play. The Hilltoppers on the march once again. They just a moment ago missed a field goal, which would have given them the lead. The Wildcats were 3 plays and a punt. Up to the line will come the Hilltoppers. Shotgun formation from Miller at the 50. Lots of pressure. He's in trouble. Here's the pass. It's complete. And Stephen Wood makes the stop on Hairston. And they exchange pleasantries down there after the stop. They move the ball to around the 43-yard line. It was a fine-looking play, but not a whole lot of yardage. 1 yard at most on the play. Second down, 9 yards to go for Johnson City Science Hill. 7:21 to play in the ball game. 3-3 our score. The Wildcats trying to win their 5th ball game. Science Hill comes in at 2-4 on the year. The Wildcats are 4-2. Hairston is the lone running back. Shotgun once again for Miller. They're setting up the screen. Quarterback's in trouble. Running. He's going to be pushed out of bounds by the Wildcats at around the 37-yard line. That time, they looked as if they were setting up the screen. The Wildcats that time defended it quite nicely and forced Miller to run, which is not his best strength, although he's hard to bring down once he starts running. He did gain good yardage. It'll be third down at about 3.5 yards to go. The ball is at the Oak Ridge 38-yard line. 6:55 to play. Big play, I think, in the ball game. Third down, a long 3 at the 37-yard line of the Wildcats. Split out to the right. They'll have a single receiver. Let's see, they'll come up with 2 men in the backfield this time for them. Miller sandwiched in between, and timeout is asked for. 6 minutes, 55 seconds to play in the ball game. We're all tied at 3. We're going to send it back. We'll be back to Johnson City.
Robert McFarlane will be playing the state golf tournament October 13th. Madison for boys and girls basketball, Science Hill game October 31st.
I saw a lady with gray hair who's down there where they're working on his teeth. I saw her mouth.
Back here, the third down play is not going to be a first down. In fact, there's a flag on the play. We'll have to check this call. Officials saying, let's see, they're talking about it. They're pointing towards Johnson City. They didn't pick up a first down, but it's going to be clip against the Hilltoppers. A huge penalty against them. And they'll step the penalty yardage off. They were short of the first down by about 3 or 4 yards. And the Wildcats, it would be fourth down and about 2 to go for a first. Wildcats need to take this penalty and back them up further because they'll go for it with such little time left in the game, and that is the case. They're going to step the penalty yardage off against Johnson City. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who did not come to the ball game, you haven't missed a lot of exciting football tonight in a 3-3 ball game, and not a very well-played ball game because of too many turnovers, penalties, and just not very exciting, to be honest with you. Although the score is tight and tense in a 3-3 ball game, the game has just not been one of those games where you just walk away from it thinking, man, that was a great ball game. 3-3 our score, 6:48 to play. Shotgun, Brian Miller, back to pass, setting up some screen. The Wildcats, Wolfter nearly makes the sack. He's looking, reverses his course, once again running. The Wildcats cannot corral him. There's a clip. Here's the flag. Here's the pass. It's complete at the 45 to the 42-yard line, but it's not going to matter as the clip is called way back up the field, and they're going to step more yardage off against the Hilltoppers. Brian Miller was nearly sacked by the ends, Wolfter and Wood. They just couldn't quite get to him. Greg's mobility is not right now at its greatest because of the back problems he's had. In fact, he's now coming out of the ball game, talking with Coach Gaddis. He's going to check out. Let's see who checks in for him. It might be prime time Dion Maples. That is the case. 6 minutes, 17 seconds to play. 3-3. And once again, the penalty is being stepped off from the point of the infraction, which was way back as Miller went about 15 to 20 yards back into his backfield. And the penalty went down at the 28-yard line, and the yardage is going to go inside the 20, inside the 15. He's still walking, putting it down at the 14-yard line, their own 14-yard line. To get a first down, they need to get to the Oak Ridge 34-yard line. Do the math quickly on this, Mark. Is third down and the longest situation ever. Third down and an eternity. That's all I can say. The scoreboard hasn't even got it up there. The math is difficult as the quarterback is back, cranks it up. What a bullet. Here's the pass, incomplete. Hilltopper fans thought there should have been a pass interference on the intended receiver. Brian Miller just displayed a fantastic arm. He just zipped that ball about 50 yards in the air on a tight spiral. It's fourth down. So what was a promising drive for Johnson City could give Oak Ridge great field position, and Kiki Houston is back to receive the kick at the 6:10 mark of the ball game, standing around midfield. They'll punt from their end zone. It's fourth down, 53 yards to go for the Johnson City Science Hill Hilltoppers. To punt the ball will be Patrick McElvin. Here's the punt. High end over end kick, returnable. Kiki fields it and fumbles it at the 50 and goes down. Lost his footing in a muddy area part of the field, although it's not raining, but there is some patches of just dirt and mud down there. Still great field position for Oak Ridge. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. The ball's at the 49-yard line. Huge penalties against Science Hill. 3-3 score, 6 minutes to play in the ball game. When we get a timeout, I'm going to look the last time that a game was played solely with the scoring done by field goals on the history of Oak Ridge football. 1st and 10 Wildcats at the 48. Hopefully Jared can take care of that right here. Tharp rolling to his left, has some time, looks, now we'll run. He's across the 50 and there goes a penalty. That's going to go against Oak Ridge. So both teams just can't get it going. The penalty yardage this time will be stepped off against the Wildcats. It's a hold against one of the linemen, and they'll step 10 yards off against Oak Ridge. 5 minutes, 52 seconds to play. So the fans who made the long trip from Oak Ridge to watch this ball game, there's, I don't know, probably anywhere around maybe 200, 300 at most across the way, haven't really been able to cheer much for the offense anyway. Neither team able to get a lot of yardage. It's a 3-3 ball game. 5:52 to play. The ball's walked back all the way to the 34-yard line. It's now for Oak Ridge. First down. And let's see, about 25 yards to go for the Wildcats. The ball is at the 34. Tharp under center. Rock Carden comes in motion. Jared Tharp hands it off to Kiki Houston. Short side of the field, 30. Down the sideline, pushed out of bounds at around the 35 or 36-yard line. That's a gain of about 4. It'll bring up second down and over 20 yards to go for a first. 5 minutes, 32 seconds to play. That is the Hilltopper Band playing right here in front of us. Their student section on their feet. There are hardly any students across the way for Oak Ridge as I look across the field, mainly represented by parents across the way. 3-3 score, 5.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Jared Tharp under center, second down. He needs to get to the Hilltopper 41 for a first. He has it at the Wildcat 37. Tharp to pass, looking. Rolling, still looking. There's the pass. It's complete for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards to Greg Adams. Pushed out of bounds by the Hilltoppers and actually stays in bounds. The stop is made by Eric Livingston. It'll be 10 yards on the gain. Third down, 13 yards to go. 5-10 and counting. The ball back to the 47-yard line of Oak Ridge. Hilltopper Band still playing. Here comes Oak Ridge. The play slowly coming in from the sideline. Sean Thomas, the receiver, gives it to Jared Tharp. Wildcats with not a lot of time. Come to the line. The center is Greg Woofter. Splitting out to the left, Kiki Houston and Sean Thomas. Tharp under center. Play clock ticking down. Back to a split behind him. Third down and 12. Back to pass. Fires it down the way. Here's the pass. Overthrown, incomplete. Looked like Kiki Houston either gave up on his pattern or just quit running altogether. It was well overthrown. Sean Thomas was down there. It's fourth down, and here comes Trey McDonald. He'll punt. So the Wildcats had great field position starting the drive at the 47 or 8-yard line, but The holding penalty just basically stabs the knife into that drive. The Wildcats are forced to punt. They've come close to blocking a couple of these efforts. Here comes the kick. He gets it away. High kick inside the 20. Bouncing, takes a great Oak Ridge bounce. It'll roll inside the 10, down to around the 9, and that's where Science Hill will take over with 4:26 to play in the ball game. Long field to drive, and neither team has really been able to do it. In fact, if we go to overtime, that might be our only opportunity to see a touchdown, because neither team really. Wildcats had a second and goal at the 2, but then fumbled it and were forced to, they did recover it, but were forced to go for a field goal way back in the first quarter. All the scoring took place in the first quarter. 29-yard field goal by Daniel Wetzel at the 6:36 mark of the first quarter. Science Hill scored with 24 seconds to play in the first quarter on a 27-yard field goal. First and 10, Brian Miller from his own 9-yard line. Backfield split behind him. Handoff goes for a gain of about 2 or 3 yards as they squirt across the 10 to around the 11-yard line. Gain of 3, second down, 7 yards to go. 4:12 and counting. And play is halted officially as one of the Hilltoppers is down on the play. While they attend to him, well, we'll just hold it right here. He gets up. Thought they were going to have to bring the training staff to assist him, but he is up on his feet and play is halted, and they're going to have to get him out of the ball game because play was halted. As the training staff attends to the young man, he comes out kind of wobbly, kind of walking on his own power, and that is for them Buddy Lewis. 4:11 to play in the game. 3-3 our score. We're on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. We'll have a highlight show, not a long one, at the end of the ball game. And we'll also have Coach Joe Gaddis, head coach of the Wildcats, the final statistics as well. Second down, 7 yards to go. Once again, shotgun for Brian Miller. 4 receivers in the pattern. 2 split out to the right, single to the left. Single running back, Miller to pass. Here's the pass, way incomplete. Just kind of threw it on a line over towards around the 20-yard line, intended for Stevens. It was incomplete. Jonathan Stevens, the intended receiver. It's now 3rd down and 7. Just too much zip on that one. Miller misfires. It'll be 3rd and 7. Ball is at the 11-yard line. Much cooler mark than I had anticipated it being tonight.
Yes, it's very cool tonight, David. 4:04 remaining in the ball game. Not many possessions here in the second half. Oak Ridge has had the ball 4 times. Science Hill on their 4th possession. Just a lot of holding the clock each possession. David?
Looking at the statistics as Science Hill calls a timeout. Swing this around for me. Looking at the statistics, the leading ground gainer, believe it or not, for the Wildcats, let's see, would have to be Kiki Houston, and he only has 29 yards, averaging 2.9 yards per carry. Ron Carden leading with 5.3 yards per carry, but he only has 21 yards. For them, their leading ground gainer has been B.J. Hairston with 58 yards on 11 carries. Looking at the quarterbacks side by side, Brian Miller for Science Hill, 13 of 24 passing for 133 yards. Jared Tharp, 3 of 9 passing for 42. Wildcats' Drew Walker, 1 of 2 for 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down, 7 yards to go as the timeout was asked for by Johnson City, Science Hill. And they'll come to the line, splitting out receivers once again to the left and to the right. The Wildcats with 5 defensive backs in there. Houston, Smith, Kreider, Smith, and Walker. One other. Houston, shotgun formation, 3rd and 7. Brian Miller back to pass. Dumps it off. Pass is complete. And they'll move the ball to the 20 for a close to 1st down yardage, and then a late hit by one of the Hilltoppers on Drew Walker. I think he has enough yardage for the 1st down if they give him a good spot. The spot is at the 20, and that is a 1st down for Johnson City. 3 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the game. The ball's at the 20-yard line. 1st down, 10 yards to go for Johnson City. They're moving from right to left as we broadcast here from the press box on the home side here. Oak Ridge Band playing across the way. The Hilltopper split 2 receivers here to the left. Single man to the right. Shotgun once again for Brian Miller. 1st and 10 from his own 20. Single running back, low snap, back to pass, lots of time. Now it breaks down. He's sacked. Fires off an incomplete pass at the last moment. The Wildcats came in with Stephen Wood, grabbed him, and he is strong enough to stay up long enough to get rid of the pass harmlessly. And it's second down, 10 yards to go, and that stops the clock at 3:24 to play in the ball game. Both teams have had opportunities missing field goals. Both teams have hit field goals. First and 10. Play with incompletion. Now it's second down, 10 yards to go at the Hilltopper 20-yard line. Two receivers to the right, single man here to the left. Coverage on him, Kiki Houston. Shotgun, Brian Miller. Here comes Michael Resnick. He's in trouble. Quarterback running again. Now fires down the way. The pass is incomplete at the 34-yard line. What an arm Brian Miller has. He was on a dead run, rolling to his right, fired it. It's incomplete. Third down, 10 yards to go. Big play. As Miller continues to fire it up there, the Wildcats, if they can hold them right here, will get good field position, at least relatively good field position, but the inability to move the ball, it really, wherever they get the ball, as long as they can get in the Daniel Wetzel field goal range, we'll just have to see what the defense can do. It's third and 10, shotgun again from the 15, back to pass, screen pass, complete. Resnick makes a stop. No gain on the play. The Wildcats stopped them at the 20-yard line. Big stick right in the middle of the back, as the Wildcats also have Matt Spangler in the ball game on the defensive line. It's 4th and 8. Jordan checks out. They'll punt once again. Now the Wildcats will drop back Kiki Houston along with Nick Crow back here at around the 40-yard line. 2:49 and counting. They'll punt from around the 5-yard line, and once again it's Patrick McElvin to do the honors. 5'11", 154-pounder. Wildcats will put 9 men on the line. It's 4th down and 8 yards to go at the 22. Here's the snap. It's low. Picked up and punted. High, long, spiraling kick. Houston fields it, then fumbles it, falls on it at his own 40. Kind of a wobbly kick. It went up initially off his leg with a spiral, and then it kind of caught air and went down as a knuckleball. Kiki fielded it and just pounced on it back at the 40. The Wildcats have 2 minutes and 23 seconds in regulation to win this ball game. They have the ball, first down, 10 yards to go at their own 40-yard line. The Wildcats have struggled all night to move the ball down the field as Porter splits out to the left. They've had some success in the second half in the air, passing to their backs. Let's see what they do here. Booker is split out to the left. The pitch will be the toss sweep to Rock Harden. Rock Harden has 2 yards, 3 yards, not much more than that. He's tackled at the 43. Overtime looking very much a possibility. I mentioned a moment ago the plays. You put the ball down at the 10-yard line after a toss of a coin, and you have 4 plays to get in and score, or not score, or hold the other team out. We're down to 2 minutes to play. Second down, 7 yards to go. The Wildcats with the ball at their own 44-yard line. Sean Thomas split out to the right. Backfield split, slot left. Tharp hands it off, James Booker. Booker hitting the backfield, loses yardage. Lost 2. Went to the short side of the field, and down he goes. It'll be third down and about 8 yards to go for the Wildcats as they put the ball down at the 42. 1.5 minutes to play. Ticking it down. It's been a battle of field goals all in the first quarter. Oak Ridge to the line. Adrian Porter split out to the right. Third down, 9 yards to go. Jared Tharp under center. 1:20 to play in the game. Tharp under center, Greg Wolfter. Back to pass. Lots of time. Looking, firing. Adrian Porter. The pass is incomplete. Rock Harden down there as well, and the Wildcats will be forced to punt. Tharp misfires down the field. 2 receivers down there. Both looked at one another. Neither made the catch. Trey McDonald to punt the ball away. So once again, we give Johnson City an opportunity to win it. Wildcats will punt. Trey McDonald will punt from the 30-yard line. So you just can't keep letting Brian Miller out on the field so many times. Low snap, Trey punts. Gets it away, the best punt of the night, and he needed it right here. All the way back and fumbled at the 10. Picked up at that point, up the field to the 11, to the 15-yard line, slung down at the 16. Then a late hit comes in when the Wildcats, they don't call it. It'll be no penalty. Science Hill first and 10, 54.5 seconds to play in the game. And let's see how Science Hill plays it here if they want to just go ahead and because of the field position, maybe take one shot and then try to just get it into the overtime. We'll see how they play it here. It'll be their ball, 1st and 10. They'd like to get in the field goal range. There's still plenty of time, 54.5 seconds to play, but neither team has been able to move the ball tonight. Miller has thrown the ball for about 150 yards. Here comes the snap, the catch, gets out of bounds. Nice play. He gets out of bounds at the 25. That's what I would do, just kind of dink it up the field, getting short gains, stopping the clock on the out of bounds part of it, and then he gained 9 on it. 2nd down in a yard, exactly 50 seconds to play in the game in a 3-3 ball game from Johnson City. Ball's at the 26-yard line of Johnson City as they move from right to left. The Wildcats with 5 defensive backs in there. Houston, Smith, Walker, Crow, and Resnick's a linebacker. Quick snap. Miller to pass. This time across the way. Pass is complete for a 1st down at the 30-yard line, but the clock continues. They're going to have to stop it, though, because it is a 1st down. Wildcats make a big stick. They do move the ball to the 30. Houston and Resnick, they're on the stop. Quickly up to the line will come the Hilltoppers. 41.2 seconds to play in the game. The ball at their own 30-yard line. Brian Miller this time will settle right under center, and he'll spike it. Stops the clock at 36.6 seconds to play in the game. It'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go. 36.6 seconds. We're going to hold it right here. We're on AM 1290 WATO and Tennessee Cablevision Channel 12. Wildcats trying to win game number 5 here in the 98 season. It's a non-regional ball game. The Wildcats are 3-0 within their region. And on top, they'll play Campbell County next Friday. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 6 o'clock with our pregame show. Kickoff set for 7:30. Here comes Science Hill to the line. 2nd down, 10. 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Miller back to pass. Batted down at the line of scrimmage by the 6'5", 255-pound senior Greg Wolfter. He bats it to the turf. It's 3rd down. 10 yards to go for the Science Hill Hilltoppers with 31.5 seconds to play in regulation here at Steve Spurrier Field in Johnson City. The ball's at the 31-yard line. Let's see what they do here. If they don't pick up a 1st down, the Wildcats will have an opportunity. Not a lot of time. Oak Ridge could elect to use a timeout initially to give them some opportunities. Miller from the shotgun at the 25. Here's the snap. Here's the throw. Pass is complete for a 1st down, then intercepted by Oak Ridge. Matt Smith picks it up at the 45. Somehow on a deflection, Matt Smith picks it off at the 45-yard line, and Oak Ridge with 18.5 seconds to play. The intended receiver was popped. The ball popped loose. Matt Smith in the right place at the right time picks it off. The ball is at the Hilltopper 44-yard line. The Wildcats perhaps have one play to get in the field goal range, maybe more. All of their timeouts remaining, and miraculously the Wildcats have the ball. 1st down, 10 yards to go, and here comes Oak Ridge to the line. The Wildcats trying to win this one in regulation. Tharp under center, Greg Wolfter. Backfield split. Under center, Jared Tharp. He rolls to his left, looking, might run, he does. Tharp at the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, 20. Tharp, 15, Tharp 10, Tharp down to the 9. It'll be 1st down, goal to go for the Wildcats. 6.7 seconds to play in the ball game, and Daniel Wetzel will enter the ball game to try to win the ball game on a field goal with 6.7 seconds to play. Fantastic run, great block. Yard line, and play is halted, and here comes the kick team onto the field. 6.7 seconds to play. I spoke to Daniel Wetzel 3 or 4 weeks ago. I asked him if he would like to be in the position to win a ball game with a field goal. This is the time. Daniel Wetzel, a little chip shot for him, although no kick is easy. He's on the left hash mark. He'll put the tee down at around, let's see, the 20-yard line. Actually, officially, they'll put it down closer to the 16-yard line, making this a 26-yard field goal with Drew Walker to hold, Jacob Schneider to attempt. The Wildcats trying to win the ball game. 6.7 seconds to play. Daniel Wetzel, senior place kicker, hit a 29-yarder, can win the game here. Here's the snap, it's high. Here's the kick by Wesley, boots it on its way. It's heading to the goalpost, and it is good. And the Wildcats lead it 6-3 with 1.1 seconds to play in the ball game. So the interception by Matt Smith after, I believe, a vicious lick placed by Kiki Houston, the field goal by Daniel Wetzel, and the Hilltoppers, dejected, wandering off the field, trail it 6-3 in a battle of field goals here in Johnson City. 1.1 second to play. If the Wildcats can stop the kick, the Wildcats will win this ball game. Incidentally, the kickoff is sponsored by the Oak Ridge Conference Center in the Oak Ridge Mall. Give them a call today at Monday, 482-2008 to schedule your Christmas parties. So the Wildcats, Daniel Wetzel knocks down the field goal, 3 field
or who hit the receiver, but number 40 number 22 for Science Hill caught the ball and was just popped by one of Oak Ridge's defenders. The ball pops out, and Oak Ridge was able to get the ball on the fly. It was an incredible play, David.
Wildcats to kick off here. Oak Ridge was penalized for celebrating, so they're going to have to kick off back here at the 25-yard line. So this game is not over right now. There's 1.1 second to play. Daniel Wetzel will kick off. Of course, a return for a touchdown wins it for them. Only 1.1 seconds to play in the game. 6-3, Oak Ridge in the lead over Johnson City Science Hill. Daniel Wetzel to kick. Here it is. He hits a squibber. It's a bouncing kick. It'll be picked up by the Hilltoppers at the 40. Looking for running room. Guess what? Not finding it. Game is over. He pitches it again, third pitch, and down the field he goes. Down the field, driving at the 45-yard line. This time he's tackled 3 times. They lateraled it. Twice successful. The third one, the runner runs the ball to the 34-yard line, and the stop is made by the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge wins the ball game. He was going down, lateraled it once. That man was going down. He lateraled it again. That man picked it up and rambled down the field and almost came to within a hair from breaking it free and winning the game for Johnson City, but the stop was made by Oak Steve Spurrier Field by a final score of 6-3. So the Wildcats win for the second consecutive game, and they'll head to Campbell County next Friday night in a
Most exciting part of the game was in the last 30 seconds. In the last minute, the Science
yard line, and play is halted, and here comes the kick team onto the field. 6.6